If God is for us, then who the is against us? Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top.
Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot.
Welcome to the Wealth Mindset with JD Garnier. Listen, I hope you're having a productive week in your wealth creation journey, and I hope you started the year off right. My goal is simple: to help you walk in wealth, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. To take the things that God has already given you and use those to create a life of purpose, so that wealth is more than just what you acquire. Wealth is who you become. You with a wealth. It's not your investments. It's not your real estate. It's not your business. It's you. And before you have any of those things, you have a unique and specific set of talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, habits, disciplines, and inclinations that form the basis of everything that you do in this world. And once you tap into that, you build wealth in your life. So again, you with a wealth. Listen, man, first things first, please follow, like, subscribe, and share my content. If you like my message, if you like what I'm talking about, please share and follow me on all social media platforms under JD Garnier or Garnier JD. We well into 2026 right now. And if you have not already started on your journey of changing the things that you want to change, improving the things that you want to improve, listen, it's not too late. Improvement is about changing your habits, right? You don't just wake up on the first of the year and become a different person if you haven't done anything different. If you haven't made any plans to change any part of who you are, then it's just going to be another day. And so New Year's resolutions usually fall hollow because we want to change here, but we don't change our everyday routines and habits. We still wake up at the same time. We still watch the same stuff. We still consume the same things, but because the year is different, we have a different expectation, and it doesn't work like that. In order to change your life, you have to change your habits, you have to change your routine, and you have to change the things that you consume and the things that you expose yourself to. And you do that long enough and consistently enough, and you start to shift the dynamics of your life. And so we only on the 6th, it's not too late. You know, a lot of times when people talk about money, people talk about wealth, they do it in a way that seems almost foreign or unattainable for the average person. And so when we see interviews of famous people, very, very successful people, wealthy people, a lot of times it's hard to relate, it's hard to connect, and it's hard to see ourselves in their shoes because they seem so far from our everyday life. What they did seems so distant from the resources that we have access to every day. And unfortunately, it leaves the average person in a situation where they feel hopeless, where they don't feel like they can accomplish those same things that they see online or on social media or on television. They see those people as different or as other, or for whatever reason they had luck that we just didn't have. And so when I talk about wealth, I try not to start at the highest level. I talk to wealthy people every day. I advise multimillionaires every day. But if I start there and I'm trying to talk to everyday people, it's not going to connect. And so one of the things that I try to do with um, the wealth mindset is cultivate and shape the way that you think, not just about your money, but about yourself, about the world, and about the talents, abilities, and gifts that God has already given you. Because in order for you to really build wealth, in order for you to make the money that you dream about, it's not going to come from the outside. It's going to come from the inside. It's not going to come from any outside sources that are giving you anything. It's going to come from the inside in which you create and develop on your own. The problem is most people don't believe that they can create or develop anything. And, you know, a lot of times when I'm talking to young people, I talk to them about discovering their purpose because any forward momentum in life has to start with a foundational purpose or reason. And if you go through life without really knowing why you are here and you have no starting point, there's nothing for you to build on. And so the first place you start is asking God, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What do you want me to do? And that's easier for some people and is more difficult for others. People with physical talents, typically, people with physical talents are visible. Their gifts are visible. If you can sing, everybody knows that you can sing. If you can play basketball, if you can play football, if you can run fast, everybody can see that. And so when you have a physical talent, it's evident to the world. And so it's not as difficult for you to have to seek out validation for the gifts that God gave you. But what if you don't have a physical talent? What if you can't sing? What if you can't run fast? What if you can't jump high? What if your gift or talent is not something that people can readily see? What if it's something intangible? And so if that's the case, you have to dig deeper. You have to ask more questions. You have to develop yourself more because God gave all of us something. He may have given you ability to make complicated information simple. And people come to you to help them interpret and understand stuff. He may have given you the ability to protect. And so you always find yourself in situations where you are the protector of people who can't protect themselves. God may have given you the ability or gift to build or construct. And naturally, you are gifted or talented at building and constructing things. He may have given you an understanding of numbers or science. And now you have a natural inclination to numbers and to nature and to things that grow and develop. You have something. But all of this noise of the world telling us what we need to be distorts us listening to God inside of our own heart. But once you discover that thing, once you discover that talent, that ability, that gift, that inclination, that thing that you drift towards, that's just the first step. That's just knowing yourself. That's just discovering what he gave you. But that's not enough. You have to build on it. A seed is nothing but potential. A seed has the potential to become a fully productive and fruitful tree, or it can just wither away and die, depending on how it is used. And so discovering your talents, abilities, and gifts is just the first step. But that's not enough if you don't build it, if you don't cultivate it, if you don't develop it. And if that happens, you waste it. And so the next step, once you really identify your purpose in life, is you have to cultivate it. You have to build on that purpose. Once I really decided that I wanted to give my professional career, my professional life to finance and investments and wealth management, it wasn't enough to me to discover that I had a natural inclination towards numbers, that I had this natural ability to understand strategy and ideas. That wasn't enough. I had to develop that skill. I had to develop that craft. And so once I decided to make this my purpose, once I decided to commit to what God had already given me, now I got to grow it. Now I got to take that seed and develop it and cultivate it and nurture it. And so every single day, I was reading 10 to 20 pages. Every single day, I was looking at and comparing securities and stocks. Every single day, I was teaching myself how to build investment portfolios. Every single day, I was looking at complex planning strategies for wealthy people so that I could understand it and communicate it in a way that resonated with the people I was trying to work with. I was building my craft. I was cultivating my seed. It wasn't enough for me to just have the talent. I had to build on it. And it took years. It took years of compounding, building on that craft. It took years of me putting myself in situations where I failed. When I first started in my business, my biggest client probably had no more than $50,000 with me. I didn't even know how to talk to somebody with $1 million. But as I continued to cultivate my seed, to develop my craft, it built a confidence in me. It built a resilience in me. See, when a tree first starts to grow, it is being productive, but it's still weak. It's still susceptible to nature. It is still susceptible to its environment and its surroundings. When it first starts to grow, anybody can come and knock it over. They can knock down the leaves. They can break off the branches, right? They can come and break that tree sometimes if it's small enough. But as it continues to grow, as that soil continues to cultivate, as those roots continue to grow, eventually that tree becomes immovable. That bark becomes impenetrable. And as you are developing yourself in life, in the beginning, you're going to be vulnerable. In the beginning, you're not going to know everything. In the beginning, outside influences will have more power to change your circumstances. But you keep working, you keep cultivating, you keep building. And then eventually you become impenetrable. The problem is most people don't want to wait for that. Most people want immediate results. Most people want the microwave solution to their life. And I used to be like that. I used to want results quick. I used to want to get everything right here. But it's unfulfilling. I can tell you, after 25 years in corporate America, dozens and dozens of failures, dozens and dozens of trials and tribulations, I've accomplished more than I ever thought I would accomplish in life. And I'm telling you, the shortcut is never fulfilling. When you get it fast, when you get it and you are undeserving, when you get it without putting in the work, you may be able to reap the benefits, but you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to be satisfied. And so I'm saying this to encourage you. If you're looking at this, wherever you are in your life, right? Wherever you are in your life, I guarantee you're not satisfied. And so the way that you make that shift is to commit to the thing that God told you to do. I know it's hard. I know it goes against everything that you're into right now. I know that it's difficult to commit because you're going to have to give some things up. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. You may have to give up some relationships, but you cannot keep running from your purpose because it's going to show up in every part of your life. It is an original instruction And every time you do something that's adverse to what God called you to do, it's going to disrupt you. It's going to unsettle you. I don't care how much money you make. If you're not living in your purpose, you're not going to be fulfilled. And so I'm talking in this way because for so long, we only want to talk about money. We only want to talk about the tangible benefits of getting to the bag. But how many people do we see online every day? How many athletes and entertainers that we look up to, and when we hear from them, the money does not fulfill them. They depressed. They lost. I have probably, over my career, I've probably had thousands and thousands of client meetings. I would venture to say I probably had hundreds of meetings with multimillionaires. I advise them on a daily basis. I tell them everything they need to do to protect and manage their wealth. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you meet with enough people, you recognize a pattern. You recognize a consistency between the people who are successful and the people who are not. And the people who are successful, the people that I have advised and built great relationships with that are worth 10, 20, 30, 50, $100 million. Do you know that when I'm sitting down with those people and we're talking about their priorities and we're talking about the strategy and we're talking about everything that they want to do and everything that they care about, as much as they are worth, those conversations are never about the money. As much money as they have, as many things as they have done, when it comes down to what they care about and what they prioritize, it's never about the money. And so as you make the changes necessary in this year to get the thing that you want, to achieve the goals that you want, always keep in mind that it has to be connected to your purpose. If it's not connected to your purpose and it's just about the bag, even if you get the money, it's not going to fulfill you. You're not going to sleep good at night with it unless you tapped into that thing that God called you to do. So let's get to it. Have a productive Tuesday. And always remember, change begins from within. Wealth mindset. Have a good one. I'll see y'all tomorrow.